Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for our Village of Alsip committee meeting. Today is November 28th, 2022, and we'll call this meeting in order at 7:30 p.m. You call the roll, please.
Trustee Delzell?
Here.
Trustee Juarez Mendoza is absent. Trustee McLaughlin?
Here.
Trustee Murphy?
Here.
Trustee Navas Barza?
Here.
Trustee Peretta is absent. Mayor Ryan?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I got the flag on the right side.
I know. I appreciate that. Somebody, like I said, 5 years, and it was always on this side, and I washed the carpet and threw it on the other side. Everybody's looking the wrong way all the time. Before we start with our officer reports, we always try to, as a professional courtesy, if we have folks in the room representing certain needs to the village, we'd like to have you speak first. Be cognizant of your time as well, too, or that of your client. In this case, let's see, we got Renee Fernellis here from our insurance broker. And Tom? Thank you. I'm sorry, Tom, what was your last name again? Thank you, Tom. Tom Wiedemann from Alliant Insurance are here today. So if you could please, Trustee Murphy, this would be under your report for Human Resource and Insurance. Could you introduce them, please, and we can get to our reports?
I'd be glad to. We have the approval for new health insurance rates 2023. Renee from Alliant will be presenting to answer any questions. Renee?
And real quick, Renee, before we get started, I saw a couple more students come in. Ladies, did you get an agenda week when you came in? It helped. Here, why don't you come on up and grab a couple. These helps with the, you can follow along with what we're talking about here. Again, ladies and gentlemen, tonight is just a committee meeting. We're not voting on anything this evening. This is more informative of what we will be voting on, or in some cases, informational committee information, I should say. In this case, we're going to talk about our village insurance plan. Go ahead, Renee.
Good evening. Thank you tonight for your time. Hopefully in your packet this time we did have the health insurance information, so I just want to make sure that you had the opportunity to review those materials, but I'll give you an overview of the materials that were included. We're looking at the January 1st, 2023 renewal program for the village. The most important portion of this program is the medical portion with Blue Cross Blue Shield. So you have two components that make up your program with Blue Cross Blue Shield for medical. You have fixed costs, which are costs for administration that you pay Blue Cross Blue Shield to handle your program. You have individual stop-loss insurance. Those are the two components that make up the overall fixed cost. From a fixed cost standpoint, we had a 17.1% increase. This is included on your summary of current coverages. This was negotiated to a 13.4%. The most significant portion of the fixed cost was your specific stop loss. So you have stop loss to insure you when you have claims on a per employee basis so that the village is not paying indefinitely. We had an uptick in large claimants in the most recent 12 months. So when they sat down to look at your stop loss, which was originally a 19.6% increase, we had approximately 2.1 million claims in stop loss claims that were for 20 plan members. So significant large claimant activity. This was negotiated to a 15.9%. So the majority of that fixed cost change is really due to the specific stop loss. From an administration standpoint, Blue Cross Blue Shield is just looking to change cost by 1.5%. And then you also get a rebate for prescription drugs that are taken on your plan. When members take brand name drugs, you get dollars back from that pharmaceutical company. The way that Blue Cross returns them to you, they put them in fixed cost value. And that rebate on prescriptions increased by about 15%. So that is your overall fixed standpoint. From a claim standpoint, this is now the projection that they give you. You self-fund your claims, so they're giving you something to expect for the next plan year. This expectation is set at 7.5%. So they're telling you that you need to budget for a 7.5% increase in claims. When we track your most recent 12 months, your actual increase is 7.3. So this is, we kind of compare these numbers to make sure their recommendation to you makes sense. To give you an idea, in our world of health insurance, inflation, which is running at about 5% on medical and as high as 12% on prescription drug, and averages right about 6 to 8%, is putting you in line with the trend increase. So the good news is you do have large claimants, but because you have a specific policy that takes over and pays on those and takes the risk away from the village, it helps you reset back to our trend program increase. If you didn't have a specific stop loss, your claims would have increased by more than 7.3% last year. So I think overall, from an overall utilization, everything's looking good. From a large claimant standpoint, we increased by another about $200,000 in reimbursements that plan had to pay out on your behalf. So the stop loss level that you have in place is appropriate, and it's really meriting that reason for that increase in the fixed. And I know that's a lot of information. When we look at that overall program cost, our last final step is to take the current enrollment in your health care plans from an employee and family dependent ratio and look at what we're funding, and then make sure we true up those conventional rates, which are just ways to express a monthly cost to be enrolled in the program, make sure that they fund for what Blue Cross Blue Shield is projecting for you. And when we do that and we true that up, it's an overall 9.2%. And we gave you those exhibits to show you we're funding to the bottom line of that financial renewal increase.
So Renee, off the top of my head, I thought, first off, when you go back to stop loss, not everybody understands what a stop loss is, but that's the first portion of what we pay against the claim, right?
Correct.
So I thought we were at roughly $70,000, weren't we?
Correct. You're at a $70,000 stop loss.
We pay the first $70,000 of every claim. We're self-insured. The village is self-insured. So you're saying, I'm just making a couple notes here, you're saying we should be adding an additional like 1.7% to that for future stop loss? Is that what you said?
No, I'm just more saying that because we had a lot of large claimant activity,
Okay.
and 20 individuals were large claimants on this plan, and Blue Cross Blue Shield, they took over on claims that go over $70,000. They ended up paying out $1 million in claims.
Gotcha.
And for that reason, then when they true up that premium that they charge you for the specific stop loss, it's a higher request on the premium because, again, you pay them for this insurance line, and I think we had, I can tell you how many people went over it. So we had 11 claimants, 11 plan members. When I say claimants, it could be an employee, a spouse, or a child. In a 12-month time period, they went over $70,000. And anything over $70,000 automatically gets taken over by Blue Cross. The village
Right.
stops paying those claims. And so they took over in 11 instances in the 12-month time period, and they paid out $1 million in claims on your behalf.
Okay. And you were saying then, too, that we should figure in adding about 7.5% for future claims above what we budget for right now?
Correct.
Okay.
That's for claims. Remember the
Right,
fixed
and
cost.
for claims, yes. Right.
Overall is a 9.2% increase.
Right, right, okay.
Yes. And so we do factor in, we have fixed, so back to that summary of current coverages, the overall fixed increase, and that's premiums you're paying for that stop loss and administration to Blue Cross, that is changing by 13.4%. So you have that cost, and then you have to budget for every person enrolled on the plan, an estimated 7.5% increase in their claims. And so when we add the two together, and then we factor in where people are enrolled, and we true it up, we have to fund for a 9.2% increase.
Right.
The claims are less, but the fixed cost is about 25% of your expenses, and the rest is claims. And so that's how you get the combination. When you merge the two together, there are two pieces of your program. They estimate out then at the bottom at 9.2.
Okay.
In terms of included in your packet, I know at this point, I think the recommendation is to renew your current program. You have a HCA plan, which requires that employees pay a portion of the deductible, $500. The next $750 is then paid for by the village. It is a PPO plan. And essentially after that, the plan kind of moves into 100% coverage. You also have a high deductible plan that's HSA compatible. It's a nice program where it's a higher deductible set on the plan, They pay that deductible in every instance, but in return, they can open up a bank account where they put money aside pre-tax. And then you also partner with them and you give them dollars towards that bank account. So I think when we talk about the program renewal at the 9.2, it's to keep your current program included in the packet, our plan design alternatives that you guys can consider, or I should say administration, unions, everyone involved could look at. And it's essentially changing plan design so that the claims against the plan are reduced. And plan members that are utilizing the plan will pay more at point of service versus paying more in conventional rates across the board in funding for. So we have that information included in the packet, as well as benchmarking to show you what other employers, including public sector, what their programs look like. Might not be a conversation for today, but we like to prepare all of the information so that at any point during the year you'd like to visit it, everything is built. There are 3 programs that are enhancements, but we feel they're win-win that we're recommending that you implement at the 2023 renewal. They're management programs by Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's Hinge Health, Livongo, and Wonder Health. Hinge Health is for everything musculoskeletal. Livongo is diabetes and hypertension, and then Wonder is for weight management. And so essentially these will be tools that will be complementary to your plan members, provided by Blue Cross Blue Shield, but there's a return on investment. You will not pay for these tools unless anyone uses them, but there is already a proven return on investment from anywhere from $1.50 to $2.50. For every dollar you spend, you're seeing a reduction in claim. Blue Cross Blue Shield has implemented these programs for all of their fully insured where they get to make the decision and they pay all of the premiums. And it's our recommendation to the village to implement these 3 programs. And again, they will reduce your claims and they will pay for themselves.
Okay.
And then from a dental standpoint, dental much more simplistic, no change in fixed, and expected change in claims by 5.4%. The overall conventional rates that you express to employees and that the village uses on a monthly basis are changing by 3.5%. You have a retiree program where retirees have insurance, and that's with Benestar. That is changing by 4.7%. Life insurance, short-term disability, vision is all with 0% change. So really the bulk of the program that you're looking at is the Blue Cross Blue Shield renewal. And again, that program is increasing by 9.2%. That's the recommendation when you budget for next year, to pay for that 13.4% change in fixed costs and the 7.5% change in claims.
And I'm making notes as I'm reading now the pack as we go along here. I know it's Chinese to a lot of folks when you know, with understanding this kind of jargon yet too. Overall, just for round number purposes, Renee, what is our health care cost right now?
For all programs?
Yeah.
I would have to, to give you an idea on the medical program, we're spending about, I'd have to add everything together, but just in fixed costs and claim expectation, that's about $2.8 million, which is just for that specific stop loss. I'd have to go through.
Oh, no worries. No, I saw 2.4 here, but I'm sure it went on. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
For just the medical, and this is to insure 140 employees, the conventional rates fund for almost 3.7 million.
Okay.
But a component of that is your fixed, and that's that 2.8. Yeah.
Sure. And Renee, again, for the record, this renews January 1st?
Yes.
Okay.
And then to give you an idea on your dental program, 143,000 is your spend. So really, in the overall, you have many programs in place. 99% of your spend is on that medical program with Blue Cross Blue Shield.
All right.
And we do, I should mention, we go out to the marketplace in anticipation of your renewal. So what I mean by marketplace are the other insurance carriers and ask on your behalf for quotes to administer the same program, provide the specific stop loss, and we had declinations from the marketplace. So we do check the marketplace. It's very hard to beat Blue Cross Blue Shield when you're an Illinois-based employer.
Right.
Nationally, other carriers can compete, but here in Chicagoland and in the state of Illinois, Blue Cross Blue Shield has the deepest discounts with providers. And so other companies such as United Healthcare, Humana, Cigna, Aetna, they can provide programs, but they know that when they pay your claims, their network discounts aren't as deep as Blue Cross Blue Shield's. So they can't beat the program that you're accessing with Blue Cross Blue Shield.
I saw the note here that you basically were uncompetitive to what you just said.
Yes, but I
Okay.
just want to point out, we do look at the marketplace. If there's anyone competitive, we speak with administration and with the board. We're not just taking a Blue Cross Blue Shield program and every 3 to 5 years looking at what else is available to you. We look at this on an annual basis.
Okay. Trustees, any questions for Renee? So we should anticipate 9.2% increase. Thank you.
It's approximately $13 for singles and approximately $40 for families. That's the 15% for the employees.
Okay.
So a $15 to $40 range
All right.
per month.
Per month, right. Very good. Renee, the packet that, the public can't see it, but the packet itself that you supplied speaks for itself. It's done well, and certainly I can understand everything I'm looking at here yet, too. So I didn't have any other questions unless the board did. But no, I thank you for coming back. I'm sorry we had to put you off the other week and stuff in, too, but
My pleasure.
certainly we'll be prepared for the new agreement we have to approve. And we'll take care of that. Tom, did you have something that you had to add to this too? Or you were just here on the same behalf? Okay. And Tom, you're involved right now with our HR person looking at workman comp and...
And that's what I'm here to talk about, what I think he presented.
Okay. No. I'm sorry. He didn't... Go ahead. No, I'll let you speak to it and stuff then too.
It's in the packet.
Yeah,
in the
that's what I'm
packet.
saying. We've got notes here. Yeah. Thank you, Renee. Okay.
Thank you, Renee.
Go ahead, Tom. If you will, please, can you come up and, we actually videotape all these meetings, so there's a mic on here. And then, excuse me one second, I saw a couple more students come in. Did everybody get an agenda? Did you need an agenda to follow on with the meeting? Oh, come on up here once the clerk's got a couple here, ladies. So Tom Wiedemann's with us as well. Tom is with Alliant Insurance as Renee is, but Tom oversees our need for workman comp insurance?
Right, yes.
Okay.
Tom was in our meeting that we had with the various companies.
Okay.
And so Tony and I have had a lot of conversation about that over the last week and a half
Okay.
since we met with them. And so we have, I'm going to kind of give a summary of what we saw. And so we talked to Dr. Raj.
Okay,
from-
so real quick, before we start, I want to recap this real quick, because you got people in the audience who
Sure.
want to know what we're talking about. There are third-party contractors that, like doctors, let's say, that oversee claims that companies make for workman compensation claims. And a lot of times, let's say if somebody threw out their shoulder lifting a shovel and couldn't come back to work for some period of time, there's a whole process. Might just be physical therapy, might require surgery, you name it. But you have third-party contractors now that can intervene on a company's behalf to make sure that both the employee and whoever their physician might be is getting things done in a timely fashion, so we can get that employee back to work. A lot of times, you can have, like we always use the example of, you could have a pro ball player that breaks a finger, and he's back on the court in 8 weeks, and all of a sudden we sometimes hear excuses that you can't get a doctor's appointment for 8 weeks. So our employee stays out that much longer. In the meantime, like in any business, work falls behind schedule. So we're trying to, because we're working short, and so we're actually trying to qualify as to whether or not we want to engage with this third-party contractor, and there's maybe 3 companies that we were speaking to. So go ahead, Tom. Or Joyce, go ahead, yes.
So we had 3 companies that we looked at and actually interviewed, had them either come in or we did a Zoom meeting with them. One of the companies was CompCore, which we've mentioned before. CompCore is based on algorithms. So if someone gets hurt, it's critical to let CompCore know when they got hurt, because based on their algorithms, it should take them this long, so long to get better. And if they aren't better within that time, then there's something wrong. And so it's imperative that we communicate with CompCore on injuries and when they happen. And their fees are based upon the claims that we turn over to them. So CompCore is actually $300 per claim, and we have an estimated number of claims of 18, so it puts us at $5,400 for the year. Again, that can vary because if we have more claims or less, I mean, we're going to get charged $5,400 regardless, but if we go over, we're going to get charged more. So it'll be $300 per claim after that. Now, this includes paper cuts. Remember, somebody's got to go to the doctor. So it's not, if I hurt my finger and I say, oh, I hurt my finger, and I write down that I hurt my finger, but I don't go to the doctor, this doesn't matter. But when I go to the doctor, then that causes CompCore to become involved. So just so you know what it entails, it's not every time somebody fills out something, it's whether they go to the doctor or not. So then we listened to Ready Rebound. We had a Zoom meeting with them. And the Zoom meeting with Ready Rebound, they are very police and fire focused. I'm not saying that they don't handle any other claims, but they're very police and fire focused. The 2 things that they do not handle are cardio and mental health, where the other companies do. So some limitations to that. Ready Rebound is $226 per employee, and they estimate the number of employees at 86, which was basically Public Works, Fire, and Police, which is where our main workers' comp cases are. And so that came to $19,436 for the year. So, and if you don't use that, they do give you a credit for next year on your next bill. The next company that we listened to was Optimal Recovery, and it is quite impressive to hear them. And I'm going to put it in my terms, not theirs, but it's kind of a concierge service for workers' comp.
One more time, Joyce, what was the name of it?
Optimal Recovery.
Okay.
They deal with the employee at the very beginning. And one of the things that they talked about was the frustration that people feel when they are injured on the job and they are waiting for MRIs or x-rays or treatments or whatever, and they don't know who to call, they don't know where to go. IPRF is not a hand-holding service. They don't help you through the process. And Optimal Recovery does that. So they also offer additional physical therapy.
Yes.
They have a scaled cost. They gave us the full load here at $2,500 per claim, but it's not that. That's for the ones that require a lot of intervention. If I have a paper cut and I go to the doctor and they say, put a Band-Aid on it, that doesn't cost as much as the $2,500. It can be as low as $500, depending on what the injury is and, again, whether you go to the doctor or not. They help the employee through the process so that the employee can get back to work. Because one of the things they talked about and I understand this, is that when an employee gets injured and they wait for a month to get some sort of test or MRI or something done, they get frustrated and they get angry, and that creates a problem for that employee that no one's taking care of them and helping them get through this process. And so I understand what they're trying to do, and it sounds, it is truly the optimal vision of this. And by the way, they do cover mental health and cardio too. We have two choices here, I think. I'm not, the only thing that I have against Ready Rebound is the fact that they don't do cardio and mental health. So I'm looking at CompCore, or Tony and I talked about this, CompCore or Optimal. We can try CompCore at the low end of the scale in terms of price to see if it's going to help us, because this is new to us. We don't know. Or we can look at Optimal Recovery. I think those are our true choices. I'm not, again, not that sold on Ready Rebound merely because, number one, their focus is fire and police, not necessarily others, and they don't do cardio and mental health.
I have a couple of questions. And thanks
Okay,
for
now
the.
it's Tom's turn.
Oh, I mean, if you have anything to add to what Joyce has to say, I mean, go ahead.
No, go ahead with your questions.
Well, I'm trying to piece together, I remember that we brought this up for discussion before. Who suggested this, that we explore a third party? Okay. And then, so how many open claims do we have where if we're able to disclose that publicly? Or?
The reason why we're looking at this is because how long it takes to get somebody to the doctor, how long it takes to get a claim approved. It took me 6 months to get one of my lieutenants to have surgery on his shoulder that should have been done within a week. You look at football players, look at the game the other day. Somebody got hurt. What happens? They go for an MRI right away. They start physical therapy, where our guys are sitting for months and months going through the bureaucracy of trying to get a claim to get all this going, and at the same time it's costing us overtime because I have to fill that void spot with that person. That's how all this came about. So CompCore was the first one I brought up, and then Ready Rebound and Optimal. I know all three of the folks. They all do a good job. They all do different services. The biggest thing is try to get our people taken care of and getting them back to work and making sure to get what they need to do instead of how these claims go. I mean, Mayor and I have had many discussions over a couple of our firefighters over the last couple of years. It's crazy that I have somebody off for 11 months, and the first 6 was trying to get them in for surgery.
And how many other municipal clients that you know of use some of these services?
All of them offered us references, but we wanted to get feedback from the board before we proceeded. We can certainly get that information from them.
It's a significant number of municipalities engaged in some type of service.
And this is also offset with our IPRF grant, correct? These services are also offset by our IP. We can use our IPRF grant for these services.
Yes.
Thank you.
When I interrupted you, Catalina, I was saying he could answer the question.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I thought there was, I don't know if there was more. It's just a lot to digest and just trying to understand. I know this was brought up before, so I'm trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. But it'd be also good to know what other municipal clients that are roughly our size that utilize any of these services.
Hazel Crest is the closest one to use Optimal right now. I know Bellwood, closest for CompCore, and then you go down to Bradley and Bourbonnais. They've been using it for several years now.
Any nearby us, close to us?
Hazel Crest is
Hazel
close.
Crest?
That's for Optimal.
That's the closest, okay.
And then South Holland uses Ready Rebound, which the CEO is actually from the South Holland area, but they are more of a national company, where Optimal and CompCore are just pretty much Illinois and Chicagoland area.
Okay.
All of them claim to be able to reduce workers' comp costs by about 40%. So,
Tom, I mean, a lot of this is new to the village. I've been on this board for over 10 years, and we've never retained these kind of services before. We do have a new human resource manager, and I can kind of go either way with this. I mean, in your professional experience, as an opinion, have you seen a lot of success with these programs?
They can bring great success. And a lot of it is getting the right treatment more faster. So, one of these, either of these will look at the injury and say, well, we don't need to go through 3 months of rehab or PT, because I can tell you that you're going to need surgery based on the injury. So let's just get the surgery and then do the rehab rather than 3 months of rehab surgery, then 3 months. Like the chief said, then the guy's out for 6 months instead of 5 months.
I guess, like anything else, when you want to get information or if you want to get something done, sometimes it strikes me as being more of a obstructionist to have, let's say, like a third party calling Dr. Smith and saying, listen, my guy's not back fast enough, get him in, get him in, get him in. And Smith's going, hey, this is as fast as I can get it done. In other words, I hate to think we're paying for a ghost service that is being an obstruction to what we're trying to do, and possibly ticking off the doctor to making it go slower in any set. I mean, in other words, there's no guarantees in anything that you do, but I hate to just expend monies on a service like this if I have an aggressive HR person to facilitate the same need, is where I'm going.
When Ready Rebound first came out, they were called Tappy. Their first big client was Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They saved $1 million in overtime the first year that they were a client because they got people back. Of course, that's a much larger department.
Right. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but it's a new, service to me. Yeah.
I'm not sure that an HR manager can call the doctor's office and get somebody in sooner.
Agreed. No,
These
right.
guys have contacts and can do that.
Okay.
So that is a difference.
And in many cases, for example, for Dr. Raj, he can look at a medical file and understand what it says and what it means. Where, Tony and I read some of these reports that we get, and it's very technical. And these guys can cut through the stuff, and they'll, I know Raj will call a doctor and say, I disagree with this treatment, and this is why. I think we should go this way. Can we try that? Sometimes the doctors say yes. Most of the time they agree. Again, his goal is to get your employee back, recovered and back to work as soon as possible.
Tom, if the board decides to go with this particular concept, what would be the agreement, terms of the agreement? Is it yearly, 3 years? What is it?
It varies.
Yeah.
Optimal Recovery does not have a contract, so it's based upon your claim.
Okay.
So CompCore is a 1 year, and Ready Rebound was a 1 year.
Okay. Like anything else, you get involved in something, if you found it was a failure, we can certainly evaluate and go a different direction. Go ahead.
One thing that came to mind is just, does this remove choice from the individual? For example, I know there's delays now in healthcare, and I have 2 children. Trying to book their physical, is 3 or 4 months in advance to do that for an annual appointment, and if there's one opening, I'm on the wait list to get through, but I want to see that particular doctor out of that office. So does this remove choice for the, in all of, I guess, it seems like just to expedite this further, or can they still see their preferred physician for care?
They have choice to even use this program.
Well, actually, it's an independent medical.
Exactly. Right.
Right. So it's not somebody that you know.
But
Exactly.
They may go to your clinic, but if it's a 3-month process.
But your doctor knows your history, and then for having another third party to come in and say, in essence, they're influenced because they have to find something. I feel like they have to find something, and just with the slide that's here, premiums continue to rise. Employees know how to game the system to keep claims open. That's a really, to me, labor statement. And just also with care. I mean, I don't want another party making health decisions that they don't know my medical history.
Well, one thing to remember, most of these injuries are we talking about are orthopedical. How often do you go see an orthopedic that knows your history of everything? They're very far and few in between.
But I'm in a health system that if I see a physician, they have access to, I make my own personal choice that they're within that network, and they just put my name, and they can see all my history. while they're making their decision.
And
Most of those, though, I mean, your patient records are all over the place.
And in Illinois, it's a choice of the employee, so he can go wherever he wants. The problem is you can go to a doctor that will provide service for a long time, because he's making money, he's off work. So the whole point of this program is to break that cycle, to say, we know that doctor is going to keep him out for 10 months. We don't want to use that doctor. So you get in another medical visit. Again, it's up to the employee. They can go where they want. We want somebody that can advocate on our medical behalf. Because I can't argue with doctors about medical treatment. These guys can. Or PT. This is the PT that is prescribed. Now, if it's a shoulder injury and you're 6 weeks of PT, but you're now at 15, 20, there's something else wrong. Is it the PT firm that is keeping you there and just not ready to go back? So those are the type of benefits they bring to the village. I know it may be seen cynical and pessimistic, but unfortunately, in some of the cases, that's what we deal with.
Trustees, any questions for Tom? Tom, I think what we're going to have to do is, again, this is a little bit of a digestive thing, but Joyce, if you would, are the numbers that you had with costs associated with this? If you would, can you, I'm sorry, we've got in here of case studies and so forth then too, but if we can just surmise it onto a list.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
That's all right.
Get it. Okay.
Let's get that back to the board in next week's packet, and we can always put it on there for consideration at next week, and we can decide as by consensus which company, A, B, or C, that we might be interested in, if at all.
And I'd like to find out about that, because you had said the option was that the company bills X number of dollars, and then they rebate towards a premium the next year.
That was ready to
That was ready
rebound.
rebate.
Right. And the problem that I have with that is that if you decided that you weren't going to utilize that company, then away goes your rebate. So it's not a good pricing model, I don't think. Great for retention for clients, for them.
So, all right, well, thank you very much, Tom. I appreciate the info. And again, not every day that we engage with a service like that, so I appreciate the background and meeting with HR on that yet, too. All right.
And if there are other questions you want to funnel them to me through Joyce or Tony,
Right.
feel free.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. He did.
Roger, I apologize, too. I saw the LED lighting on here, and I think we had it keyed in for 7:30, so I hope we didn't miss our window, if that gets extended, or is it done already? We might have to reschedule it, because those windows for Zooms don't last all night. It may have expired, guys, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm going to try to set up a new one if you
All
want
right.
to proceed.
You had somebody on the other side of that, Raj, waiting? Okay,
Mike does, yes.
all right. I'm sorry, Mike, right. While they're doing that, let's keep moving with some of our reports. I'll let Roger take care of that. We'll start with my report. First, I'd like to thank, last week, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, we had folks from Park Lawn decorate the outside of the Village Hall. Thank you for doing so. And then inside here in the boardroom here, we had members from SWISRA decorating there. SWISRA is the Southwest Special Recreation Association for folks with special needs. It's mostly their staff that came out, and they decorated the inside of the boardroom here, put up a Christmas tree and so forth too. So thank you for doing that. Let me know, Roger, whenever you're done. Just give me the heads up. Next week, Monday night, we will be lighting our Christmas tree up in the hallway here at 6 p.m. Everyone's welcome to join us. We're going to have the Girl Scouts here singing Christmas carols, and we always have donations of hot chocolate and cookies and so forth for some local vendors. So please join us if you're available for that. Tomorrow, Gen Care is going to be at the Apollo Park from 11 until 2 p.m. To help people with wellness programs, mostly designed for senior care, is who Gen Care takes care of. And if you're available, please go to the Apollo Park tomorrow from 11 till 2 for a wellness checkup. Today, the new Christmas tree that we contracted for was installed over at Veterans Plaza. Looks really nice. So that went up today. It looks good. Tomorrow, we're going to have Dynamic Consulting is going to be here to do a manpower evaluation on the fire department. So we've got a schedule. Tom, did you get that revision for that? Yeah. It was my fault. I didn't have. Something else came up. I've got to be in something with Southwest Conference.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
Yeah, I'll meet you in the afternoon. And then last, I had the Village of Alsip is going to participate in a. We're going to set this up. We just got a notice today, so I have a staff meeting Wednesday with all the department heads. But I'm going to talk to everybody. We got a notice today that Moraine Valley College is going to have a municipal and governmental job hiring event on Thursday, January 26th, and from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. And this is sponsored by the Cook County Career Connector organization too. So we're going to try and get involved in that and try and get some more village employees here. That's all I had for this evening. Can we get the clerk's report? Clerk Hardy?
Thank you, Mayor. I have the presentation of the November 21st, 2022 board meeting minutes, and also from last week, I believe one of the ordinances was not read into record for the one that was pulled for a separate vote, so I just want to read that into record real fast so that the number is noted. It is the approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip authorizing the rezoning from Residence District R-1 to Residence District R-3, a variation on the minimum lot area per dwelling unit, and a parking variation for the property located at 12000 South Hamlin Avenue, Alsip, Illinois, will now be known as Ordinance 2022-11-4. And that is all I had, Mayor.
Thank you. The engineer submitted a report just to say that the request for approval to go out to bid for the following projects. He's asking that we go out to bid for the MWRD next priority area cleaning and televising. This is a green area attached in your location map that was submitted in your packets, and also for to go out to bid for MWRD high priority area CIP pipelining project, and that was outlined in pink and magenta on maps that were included in our packets. I'm sorry. Superintendent Frater, you're here tonight. And Mike, can you give us a quick explanation again what the area televising and so forth is for?
So this is for the sanitary sewers within the David Estate subdivision. We've identified a high priority area, which is lines that are deteriorating, where we've done inspections and found that there's either breaks or disjointed seams and things like that within the
smoke
system.
test?
So this will be smoke testing and also for lining. We need to continue some lining that we weren't able to complete from last year
Okay.
to finish off that first high priority area. And then we'll begin the next section with the televising and smoke testing to identify other deficiencies.
All right. So just so you folks know, if you're ever seeing a test like this done, we have a contractor come out and he blows some really heavy white smoke through the sanitary pipes And basically, we're going to identify if there's any cracks or anything like that. So this is going through all neighborhoods, and all of a sudden you'll see smoke coming up from your lawn or something like this, and we know we got a problem there and stuff then too. It's just that we do this like once a year, Mike, more or less and stuff, but
Yes.
it's not a cheap service either
No.
to blow that heavy smoke through the pipe.
Right.
But we can identify if we have any potential cracks or leaks in our sanitary sewer
Correct.
system. Last thing we want is to, have something just spilling into the earth and not
Right.
know to clean it up. So, okay. So we're asking to go out to bid for that, Mike, correct?
Correct.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Roger, you ready for yours yet? No worry. No, just put your hand up whenever. I'll keep things moving here. We'll go to our public forum. Did anyone in the audience wish to address the board tonight? Sir? Sir, come on up.
How are you, sir?
If you would, just come up to the mic there.
Come
Yeah,
up to the
yeah.
mic. Excuse me, I was sending an email to the mayor of the city of Chicago.
Okay.
My name is Howard Barnes. I'm a pastor, have been for 30-some years. And so, of course, I love God. And I love all people. And my mom lives in Alsip, Illinois, in Heritage 1 Apartments, okay? So are you the mayor?
Yes, sir.
It's called Your Honor.
Okay.
And so we can be politically correct.
Okay.
I ran for city council in Jacksonville, Florida, born and raised right here on the south side of Chicago in Inglewood.
Okay.
Troublesome neighborhood. Also did great work there as a pastor. Took kids bowling, it's called. That's the problem with being a preacher. Sometimes you use your hands a little bit. It's called occupational hazard.
No worries.
And so what happens is great results, right, with the youth.
Okay.
Like to do the same thing right here in Alsip. Of course, with the Your Honor's permission. In other words, I'm already working with Alsip Police as a, private citizen, simply being a watch captain of a neighborhood watch program, right?
Okay.
No pay. Guess what? God is good. I'm getting ready to be a professional. Used to be a security guard, carrying a gun,
Right.
security guard, okay? And so that's just a plus. I don't need that for the watch program, but I'll be able to secure. These people have accounts with McDonald's, major truck stops. And so what I'm saying is that I bring something good to the table.
All right.
Also ran for mayor in Jacksonville, Florida. And guess what? Only reason why I haven't ran for the president of the United States of America, and that's why I have the flag.
All right.
It's called God Bless America, right?
Right.
Okay, so it's still good. So what I'm saying is, sir, or should I say, Your Honor, I apologize for my ignorance. And so what happens is, I want to serve.
Okay.
You can pay me, or I can volunteer. But know that you got a profession. It's called Kingdom Builders International. We're still going to the nations.
Well, I appreciate that, Pastor. Sure.
And so this is an organization. I talked to Iran. I talked to the Taliban. I talked to Kenya. I talked to China. I talked to Germany. In other words, that's what a president does, doesn't he? Interesting. I'm at your service, Alsip.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Much love, Your Honor.
You know what, Pastor, do me a favor. We always ask folks to sign in when they speak with us.
I don't understand
Yeah.
protocol.
No worries. You know what, Pastor? No, do me a favor, and please, leave me your number, and I'll check back at the end of this week, okay?
Absolutely, sir. I would have it any other way, Your Honor.
Sure. No, I appreciate your offering, and like anything else in this world, things go a long way with volunteering and so forth, yet, too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Pastor.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else wish to address the board tonight? No? All right. We'll go on to our standing committee reports then. We'll go with Finance and IT, Trustee McLaurin.
I will have the usual list of payroll and accounts payable for approval next week. And Joyce would like us to review the tax levy and ordinance for approval.
Well, I kind of need the
Oh, we're tied
machine,
up.
so I'm going to, can I wait?
Let's wait, Joyce.
Yeah.
Okay. Trustee McLaurin, anything else?
That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thanks. Next, we'll go to the Fire Committee, Trustee Murphy.
I have a discussion to amend Village Ordinance, Chapter 6, Article 14, Section 6-332, Annual Inspections, changing the number of units from 3 to 2, conduct inspections. Chief?
Right. What we're looking at doing, doing the buildings west of here, Rexford, McDaniels, Spencer. We've had a lot more issues over the last couple of years. Our guys have discovered them during EMS calls, fire calls. People aren't keeping up with their extinguishers, they're not replacing their smoke detectors. We have hallways that are just loaded with stuff that's preventing people from getting out in the event of a fire. Roger and I talked about it, about a year and a half ago we talked about doing it. And we need to get in these buildings on a regular basis and make sure they're up to snuff as well as everybody else. I know we have a few other straggler buildings in the village, but those are the major ones that we aren't annually inspecting right now. They never have been because there have only been 2 units, and however it works with that 3rd unit on the bottom. But again, we've seen a huge increase of not taking care of the buildings the way they should be. So we want to protect those residents as well.
Chief, what do we charge for inspections right now?
I don't know what the apartments are. I don't. It's by how many units are, and there's only 2 units, so I think that'd probably have to be modified also. I think that's part of that.
We would have to update the pricing, but for a 3-unit, it's roughly $90.
Yeah.
You know, Chief, I'd actually like to, before we move with this at all, I actually would like to talk with legal about this, because as you mentioned, those particular styled buildings and the blocks that you described, didn't we go to court with those folks?
For the bottom units, I think that's what that one was about, yeah.
No, there was about a 10 or 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was involved in one case,
Right.
which brought attention to previous litigation that we had looked at, and I don't want, I want to consult with legal before we even think about this.
We're just looking at common areas like we do with all the other apartment buildings and the utility rooms.
The village was successful in the case that was brought.
Remember that?
But I don't want to, I guess I just don't want to encroach buildings, like, in other words, if we've already established what a 2-flat is, we stand with that. But if for any reason your firefighters are going into a building and see something that's, like you said, it might be an infraction or something that's unsafe, a life safety issue, did we go back and address it with, let's say, building and fire?
We did, yes.
Okay,
we
good.
did.
Okay.
Right.
So at least we've accomplished that, but we don't have anything. Chief, I'd like to talk to legal before we.
Yeah, no,
move
absolutely,
further on that.
absolutely. The other.
Make it appear as though, we've already established what a 2-flat is and what the criteria is for a 3-flat, but I don't want to establish criteria that basically looks like a can opener for us to walk in there
Right.
and do more than we should be.
And like I said, it's just common spaces, front hallway and the back hallway. That's all we're looking at.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
I'd like to find out the volume of those units as well.
I asked it earlier. Roger, do you remember off the top of your head, how many buildings were we talking?
I believe it's roughly 82 units, so 40 buildings,
Yeah.
41 buildings,
It's the west side of
41
Rexford.
like 41 2-flats, Raj?
41 2-flats.
Yeah.
Okay.
82 total units.
Okay.
So it's just going into common areas, not in...
Correct.
Oh,
Just
'cause it
common
is-
areas. That's it.
That way, maybe if language is to be added so that way there isn't confusion where the firefighters are not entering.
Yeah, it's part of our ordinance.
yes.
but yeah,
I just
it's
saw the
common
snippet
area.
here. It wasn't here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a lot of villages. Actually, Roger just told me, I think it's Oak Lawn, they're inspecting all rental
Yeah.
facilities. It could be
Houses and
homes,
all.
could be, condos are being rented out,
Yeah.
things like that, yeah, too.
We have quite a few in our village as well, all along La Crosse, Engle Road, Lawndale, 119th and Lawndale. Same thing. Those are all condos that are being rented out.
I saw a stat today, I looked up Oak Forest, they've annually inspect 1,800 rental properties.
Yep.
That's amazing. there's no way, you guys, that you could do that with your
No,
fire department.
and try to keep, I mean, how many houses in our village are rental properties? There's a lot, quite a few.
Well, I'm saying 1,800 spots to look at every single, you need a contractor to do that. I mean, it's just too much.
I don't know how they're doing 1,800.
No,
but
that's what they had on their
They're less
website.
staffed than us,
Yeah.
so.
I just want to
Yep.
put us on the website. So, thank you, Chief. Next, we have the Police and Traffic Safety, Trustee Dalzell.
No report for this meeting. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Public Work and Boat Launch Committee.
I have a presentation of LED roadway lighting livable cities at a no-cost pilot project of their smart city technology to be used on existing village streetlights.
He's trying to key that up right now, so if he gets it, we'll get back to them.
Great.
Okay.
That's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Sewer and Water Report, Trustee Navas Barza.
I have no report this evening.
All right, thank you. Building and Health Committee. Who's on the Building Committee?
Dalzell and McLaughlin.
Trustee Dalzell.
The request to amend compensation for the part-time inspectors per Section 6-106 for $36 should be paid to the building, plumbing, and electrical inspectors for each inspection. Re-inspection, if required, would be the same fee. Per Section 6-89, plan review compensation will be paid at the rate of $18.50 per occurrence. Compensation will become effective on January 1st of 2023. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. So I put this on the agenda, trustees, just to bring to attention. We did approve marginal, for the audience knows, we approved marginal building permit fee increases that they haven't been adjusted in, I think it was 15 years or better, and 17 years. And so we did so recently just to kind of keep up with the cost of labor and so forth, and it was only a few bucks, but currently our part-time building inspectors get paid $18 for every stop they make. And in order to keep these qualified inspectors, we are far behind what other municipalities pay, and the board did approve an ordinance that approved the $36 amount to be paid per inspection, but we have to do this by ordinance in a way then too. So that's what I'm asking the board to do here. And this wouldn't start until January of next year. Next, Human Resource and Insurance, Trustee Murphy.
We covered number one. The second item is the overview and approval of the workman compensation mitigation services.
Which we did.
That's what we did with Tom that was here too then.
And we did that.
And then the last one you had.
Finally, we have the overview of Paylocity's Human Resources Informational System.
I can't speak to it.
All right.
It's for additional services through Paylocity for HR.
I'll have Tom here to speak to it. Or Tony, I apologize. All right, thank you. Special Committee Reports, Economic Development, Trustee Navas Barza.
Thank you. I was just requesting an update regarding that next site. Has anything been determined with them? Are we?
I put out that challenge that I shared with you, in default. I haven't gotten anything since, and we never made our second year of payment on that yet either.
Okay.
So.
Did the attorney share that we can? No, that's nothing.
Not yet.
Okay.
But in other words, I'm sure I asked for a work product, as we call it. Like what have you done with it? And I'm waiting to get a response back for that.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
The clerk did tell me today, too, trustee and trustees, that part of our 9-month extension, we granted Taco Burrito King to build 117th and Pulaski. They did remit a $50,000 check to us today to meet that agreement. So next we had Village Properties, Trustee McLaughlin.
I have a discussion on which bidder to award the removal of carpet to be replaced with the Elite Crete Reflector Enhancer Flooring System for the Alsip Police Department. In everybody's packet, Roger included the information about the bids that were submitted, and he has a recommendation for us.
My recommendation would be to award to the low bidder American Floor Coatings out of Naperville, Illinois. I did get my questions answered. They did give the cashier's check for the 10%. We do have the capital as we receive grant funding for it, so that the grant would cover the complete cost of the project. They do have an A+ rating with Better Business Bureau. One of my requirements was they had to be in business for 10 years, and they had to have 10 years experience using Elitecrete, which they have 13 years. The one question that I had in their proposal was that they give a 7 to 10 year depending on what topical surface they use. In their paperwork, it specified 1 year. I did get clarification from them. They are giving 1 year on workmanship, and then the Elitecrete would supply the 7 year for the top surface. So that would be my recommendation, is to go with the low bidder, American Flooring.
What was the cost on that, Raj?
$49,500.
And that would be the police station. We have a couple of staircases over by finance, right?
That would be the entire upper portion of the police station, both of the stairwells going down, men's and women's bathroom in the lower level, and then the back staircase leading up to the finance department, and then the U up in the finance department.
Okay. This money, too, it's being paid for by a safety grant that we get. We've been sitting on this money from our insurance carrier to prevent slips and so forth yet, too, that we get. There's different criteria. There's probably about 50 items that we can select. This will be decorative concrete, non-slip, non-skid flooring that will replace...
coefficient of .42.
Right, and it's going to replace just common area carpeting that's up there right now. So you're not maintaining carpet anymore. Now we're going to have concrete. And it'd be easier to maintain, as you said. And again, this is at no cost to the taxpayers, but through a grant that we got from our insurance carrier.
That is correct.
Okay. And one more time, the name of the contractor?
American Flooring
American
out of
Flooring.
Naperville.
All right, thanks, Raj.
Thank you.
We'll put this on the agenda next week, asking for approval so we can get this work going. Thank you. Next, we had Ordinance Legislation Committee.
No report, Mayor.
All right. And Planning and Zoning and Licenses Committee.
I have a presentation of a list of licenses dated Monday, November 14th, 2022 through Wednesday, November 23rd of 2022. And that's all I have, Mayor.
All right. Did anybody have any presentations, petitions, or communications they wanted to share?
Just a question with Zoom. Is it a free account or is it unlimited? Is that why it timed out? Because if you get the paid package, I think it's only like $120 a year, so that you have unlimited access to Zoom. So that way you don't have to worry about it timing out. I think you get 40 or 30 minutes free. So I'm not sure what the village currently has.
I'll have to ask IT. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So we'll finish up. Raj, what happened with your guy? You couldn't get him back? Or I'm sorry, Mike. We're going to reschedule? Thank you. I'm sorry about that. They were timed out. So just the last presentation that would be on a tax levy?
Yes, thank you very much. This is pretty short and sweet. I mean, we're going to have a 2.5% increase on the tax levy. And so we're going to look at equalized assessed value, or EAV, which is what your taxes are based upon. I'm sorry that is so tiny here. The most important part, and I don't know. So if you can look at tax year 20 and tax year 21, you can see that we actually dropped in EAV about $40 million, $50 million. Don't know why. I don't know that we tore a bunch of stuff down.
Not $40 million worth.
Not $40 million worth, but we actually dropped in EAV. Whoops, went the wrong way. Come on.
And what they're saying to the students, too, the EAV, what Joyce is referring to, is that's your equalized assessed value of the whole community. They're saying this is what your properties are worth in your community, and they're saying the property values had come down.
This is a comparison of the tax rates across multiple municipalities. And Alsip is the fourth lowest, the highest being Park Forest, well above 30%, closer to 40. We're hovering, and this is a composite rate across all of Cook County. We're hovering around 14, somewhere around 11.4%. Oops. Oh, come on. The dollar bill breakdown, and this was with, I got as many of the new tax rates as I possibly could to make this as accurate as possible. The school districts are now up to 37.9%. The high school is 28.3. We are at 18.3, and then everyone else, the library district, so forth, is at 15.8.
Okay.
If anybody has any questions, just let me know. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Come on. So this is a breakdown of our revenues and where our revenues come from. Property taxes are 28%. The majority of our revenues is from property taxes. Our sales tax is 27%. So that's come up quite a bit.
That's good to hear.
Mm-hmm. Taxes in general, income tax, hotel motel is our next biggest revenue generator at 16%. Come on. Our expenses. Our biggest expense is between fire and police. Police is 22% and fire is 18%. There's a lot of equipment, there's a lot of people, those are big departments. Health insurance is running us at 10% now. It used to be 8% of our expenses. It's now 10. And then road and bridge is at 12% for their overall expenses. The reason I'm including them here is because they are getting a portion of our property taxes, and so therefore I want to depict how much they are using. And of course, the trend across the board is our retiree benefits are going up on a regular basis. Healthcare has gone up, gone down, it's varied. The bond is pretty much done. We got one last payment to make on that. And then operations is a very minimal part of our cost structure. It's the retiree benefits that's the major impact. And I know you can't read this one, but this is the numbers for a 2.5% increase on the tax levy. And it shows how much is going to be dedicated to OPEB, how much is going to corporate. OPEB is going to be getting $2.87 million. Corporate is going to be $6 million. And road and bridge is going to go up significantly to $1.5 million. Mike was very excited about that. Police and fire pensions are driven by the actuarial studies. I did put in a 3% increase for them since they have an automatic 3% increase on their pensions. So that's police and fire pension would be $2.85 million, and police pension is $4 million. And that pretty much sums up where our money goes for the tax levy. And that does calculate to a 2.5% increase. So if you want to know how much that's going to cost per household, that's approximately $27.49 on a $6,000 tax bill for the Alsip portion. From the levies that I could get from the school districts in particular, the elementary and junior high schools, it looks like they're going to be 55.5 $55.36 increase per household, and the high school is going to be $90.57 per household.
Do you know what percentages those are?
I'm looking. The elementary and junior high schools are 36.9% of our tax of the taxes in Alsip, and the high school is 28.7%.
No, I meant the increase of their current
Oh, the increase.
levy.
I apologize. The elementary and junior high schools is a 2.5. The high school is a 5.26. And that's an estimate on the elementary and the
And
junior.
again, keep in mind, too, certainly the elementary schools are pretty much concentrated here in Alsip. We're in districts, but when it comes to a high school district, like where you folks go at District 218, you get a bigger pool. You're pulling from Crestwood, Worth, Alsip, Palos Heights,
Right.
and certainly Blue Island and whatnot, too. So that's why that number seems bigger, because you're pulling from a larger pool, not just from this one community, from
Correct.
everybody. Right.
Correct. So again, our average increase would be about $27.49.
And that's what she's saying, that if you were paying $6,000 a year on a property tax on your home, the increase to the village is $27.49.
That is the increase to the household.
To the household, I'm sorry, for the village. Right, thank you.
Correct.
Per year, not per month.
Correct, per year.
That was $27.49,
49,
so $2.29 a month.
something like that, right.
So the events that affect our tax levy this year is, there was a 3% wage increase for employees across the board, approved by the board. And in calendar year 23, as you just heard, we're going to have a 9% increase in healthcare premiums. There's going to be, of course, a lot of large capital assets that are going to be bought over the next few years. The fire and police pensions continue to rise, which they will continue to rise. And then our OPEB liabilities will continue to rise until the measures, the changes that were made in 2017 start to kick in, and that's going to be approximately around 2037. So,
And again, students, what that means, OPEB, that means other post-employment benefits. So this is what an actuary, like a person tells us what we need to budget for to cover our expenses toward retirement for our employees. Let's say
retiree health care.
Retiring health care, not pensions or anything like that,
No.
but just retiring health care benefits
Correct.
for its for its duration, for its life.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
And that's all I have for the tax levy.
Thanks, Joyce.
I have the ordinance also in there, and that gives you more of the in-depth details of what we're actually levying for. Again, the general corporate levy is $6 million, road and bridge is 1.5, firefighters' pension is 2.8, and police pension is 4. Those are the 4 major things that we're levying for.
Okay. Joyce, in the black box notes that we have, when are we supposed to be passing this tax levy?
Next Monday, we are going to have a special meeting for the public.
Okay.
That's been put in the paper. I haven't confirmed. I gave it to Erica last week. She published it. I got the email back from the newspaper.
Okay.
I didn't see it myself. I have to.
What time
catch
are we
up on
doing
that.
that?
6:30.
Okay.
It's going to be close.
I got to get these kids singing fast then. You know, we got the 6 o'clock light. I'm teasing. We're fine.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
all right.
Okay, and Joyce, can you please forward all these slides to the board? Because
I can.
they were not part of the packet, so.
Okay.
All right. Thank you much. Then we'll finish up. Anybody have any unfinished business? Any new business? Then can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. We're going to adjourn this meeting then at 8:45 p.m. Students, if you folks need your agenda signed, go back to school, please come on up. Anybody up here can sign for you and so forth then too, okay? And thank you for joining us tonight.